Hey everybody. All right. So as I mentioned last week, the main purpose of this web series is to work on try to understand the voice API, but I am on a bit of a detour at the moment, and I've gotten fixated on routing and trying to understand routing better. I had thought that I had a really solid grip on routing, but then I realized I really only understood one small aspect of routing. But the and then I was kind of trying to think of like why is this so weird in my head, and it's because um, the Angular gives you a lot of options, and it sort of has some default options and some default behaviors for routing um, that you may or may not want. And one of the things that you could do in Angular routing that is very easily, but is very difficult to do, like in like plain vanilla JavaScript, is like you can like lazy load an entire section of your application. With routing. With the routing, you could say, oh, okay, when you go here, now go ahead and load up all the the JavaScript. You can also um, you could actually deliver your application missing certain, like if let's say you had 5 tabs, you could say, oh, you only paid for 3 tabs. I'm going to deliver it. I'm not even going to give you the code for the third. You can have it build out that way, which is something that is very, very difficult to do if you're not working in a framework that supports that sort of behavior. So, but whenever I have routing running on like a personal application that isn't going to scale up to massive sizes, I actually want, as I move from route to route, I like you having routes so that I can, while I'm working on it in development, when it reloads in the right place in the way I want it. Or if I can give a link to somebody, I say, hey, go to this link, and they can just go there and all that. And that makes routing nice. But what I don't like about it for personal accounts is that it destroys the entire application, or destroys everything. So if you move from tab to tab to tab, like all the components that were in the tab get totally torn down and totally lifted. But that would be a really good thing, like in a commercial application, like an enterprise level application, where what's inside that tab may be enormous and maybe using an enormous amount of space, and you don't want to do that. You want to free up that space for performance purposes. But nothing in this application is going to be that big. So what I want to be able to do is move from tab to tab to tab, and all it's doing is hiding what's in there. It's not actually destroying what's in there. What's inside the tab is just hiding them. Um, so so that's what I want, but that's not really the natural behavior. The natural behavior, as we saw the other day, is that you know, so in my discrete component, um, I have some console logs that say that let's see, are we okay? I'm at API. If I go to discrete, it says, hey, I've been created, and then when I leave discrete to API, it says bye, it's been good when it was destroyed, right? So now it's just gone, right? And I come back and then it gets rebuilt again. And I would rather it not work that way. I'd rather the components still exist even though you're not looking at it, which is not really the default behavior for this. So the big question is is there a way for me at the app level to know what to what the URL is and not have to hack it. Just use the API, the Angular API as is. Now, according to ChatGPT, there is a service that called Location that interacts with the browser and allows for manipulation of the URL, navigating forward and backwards in history and more. And I think this is the one that I'd want to use to know. Okay, what is my current URL? Has it changed? And and if it has, like, then change, be able to change like a link thing. Um, so I'm gonna ask ChatGPT, can I use location service to determine the current URL and if and react when the URL changes? Question mark. And since I'm in this narrow thing, I have to push this button. If it's in the full width, you can just hit enter. Which response do you prefer? So this is saying, hey, I can create a location service, and that will tell me the current, and then I can make a subscription and all that. Oh, and it even tells me to destroy it. Because it doesn't provide all the routing details. And apparently there's another one called router. This is a different service. And then, so that's one thing. So here, let me just expand this to 100%. Let's see, what's the other one? Yes, you can use a location service. It's more common to use the router and activation route services for active URL services. So basically, it's just saying that I should create a. Oh, okay. This is showing me how to use location, and then I can say, hey, whenever the URL changes, and then I can have that, and then I can react to the URL change, and then on destroy, using the router and activate service. See, I feel like I don't care what the event is, navigation event and all that, you know. So, I mean, I feel like I like the simplicity of the location. So let's go use for reactive programming. All right, guys. So what do you are, ladies and gentlemen? It says, which approach do you prefer? I think I appreciate this approach a little better because it was a little less wordy. I like this implementation. I think I like this implementation better. Destroy. Create URL. All right. I actually don't know. I don't know which one of these I liked better. I think I like that one better. All right. Okay, so that was good. I think I would rather, even though most people use router, I think I want to use location. And let's see, how far are we in? We're 7:58 in. So I guess we can just start the implementation. I don't really like this implementation, doing it in the constructor at this point. I do like doing these things in the wrong one. Doing these things up here, and but I can never remember off the top of my head how to do it. Maybe I did it down here. And then let's go to discrete. Let's see if I did it in there. ng discrete. You know, I don't know. I guess I'll just go with creating a constructor in the app component. Go like that. Private location. I don't want this view. Did location get brought in? Why is it not complaining about location not being in there? That's weird. All right. I'm expecting location to be like brought in from here. Like that. And from Angular Common. Something like that. I don't know why that isn't throwing an error right now. You know, they wonder why developers become so attention deficit disorder, but it's just like, that makes no sense. You should have to say that you're pulling in location, right? I mean, all right. And so then the second part of this is on the init. Well, I guess we should go ahead and do this too. I don't know why you'd make, wow. Yeah, I don't know why you'd make that private, but whatever. We'll go with the flow. See, like I don't understand why that didn't happen before. And then I don't know why it's not giving me import from ArcGIS. Okay, so private location subscription. That might not even be legal. So it wants me to set it up in the constructor, not in init. Let's see. Okay, well, now what's your problem? So it's saying that that is not a description. I wonder if I tell it that I got this error, if it'll give me the answer. So it's telling me to change this from a subscription to a void function. I think that's a pretty good idea. Let's try that. Oh, and then it changed the name of it. Is that right? All right, so basically, this does not, at this point in time, return a subscription. It returns a void function. And do we still have to destroy it? Okay, so on destroy, they're saying that you should call this location change listener to stop changing. You run it. So we're creating this void function thing here. We are initializing it. I do not think we are allowed to. I think we have to initialize that in the constructor. I don't think that'll work. And then over here, we're saying if it runs, just run it and it'll stop listening. That is pretty wild. I don't understand that. And then I do not have an on destroy. So if I'd have known all this was gonna, I would have saved this till tomorrow. Implements on destroy, and we'll have it create it. What? That's so weird. I guess I was too fast. All right, so Control V. So supposedly that stops it from listening to the URL change. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. We are just learning at the moment. So so let's see if this works. Da, 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 da. Okay, that's what we want. And unfortunately, this guy is in the wrong place now. And let's see, what do we have in here? URL change to discrete. Okay, that's awesome. That is really awesome. So basically, our app, so our top level component knows that the router was changed. So if we did have, so now what we can do is we could just like put a circle or something around, right? Because these are up in the app, right? Let's just double check that. Okay, so yeah, these are up in the app. So I could, activate a class or something, but I know I could I can react here based on the change of that, and that is pretty simple. Um, I'm not particularly worried about this code here. Like I don't have faith that this code works, but I don't actually expect to destroy the app. So this is supposed to live the entire lifetime of the application. So I'm not worried about creating a memory leak. I My general sense is that that should work, but I would not, I would, if I was trying to do this in a professional environment where, where I knew that this could cause like a memory leak or something like that, I would definitely do a lot more experiments with it to just to see, just to be sure that it works. I guess it probably works, but I don't know. Um, and then if I was like doing someone's PR or whatever, I would have to say, are you 100% sure this is work? Do you have some sort of unit test or something that shows that this actually stops? So like, why would running this location change listener stop? So on location URL change, it's going to return a function called location change listener. And if you run it, it quits listening. That, like, in English, that doesn't make a damn bit of sense. So, anyways, yeah. So I wanted this to be a really short video. It's not as short as I want, but tomorrow we'll actually propagate these changes to the screen and possibly get do the tab implementation, just where there's a tab and it just changes based on the URL, and then and that'll be awesome blossom. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.